She comes from the south and she's making her way. For the latest news, click on her page. She's the new way. The Aallyah Wright show gon' lead the way. Passion, purpose, people, flair. Uplift one another and have confidence anywhere. God is great. Love, pray. Dedication and motivation. We gon' give you the news today. Let's go.
Today we have someone that knows all about the power of not only controlling your own destiny, but also bringing up the youth, the higher that he climbs. And before I tell y'all who this person is, I just want to brag a quick second, okay? He is an author that specializes in the genres, of romance and drama. He's a philanthropist. He is the CEO of 2 Mississippi-based nonprofit organizations. He has created countless initiatives to not only empower, but also educate the community through his annual March for Gun Violence Awareness, 100-Man March. He's a filmmaker, celebrity talk show host, a retired Navy veteran. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. So please help me welcome Mr. Ken Meeks. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing good, man. That was a great intro. I want to add to your intro, okay?
Go ahead.
Great father. I just wanted to add that.
Oh, we can't miss fatherhood. That's such a blessing and such a beautiful thing.
Right.
As I mentioned, earlier in your bio, you've done a list of things, you're still doing things, and I can only imagine what you're going to do in the future. How do you balance it all? How do you stay focused and keep the main thing the main thing?
Right. So I can't. I'm all over the place, right? Sometimes I try to tell myself, look, man, finish this project before you start another one. But like I was saying earlier, when I was 5th grade, I went into a library and I looked at the encyclopedia, right? And I saw that all the great people was in the encyclopedia. So I said at that young age, I said I wasn't going to narrow myself down to one thing. I was like, we have a long life and I want to do a lot of things within my life. Do the military, I want to do a doctor, I want to be this, I want to be that. Never knew what I wanted to be, right? Everything would open up. So I started to go to college. Right, but I also applied to the military. So the recruiter came to my door and I'm looking at my mom like, yo, should I go here or should I go to school? So she was like, it's up to you. So I knew if I would have chosen school, I'm kind of selfless. I knew if I would have went to school and my mom would have still been providing for me and, for lunch, or if I had to go somewhere, she had to send me some money or to get around in the car, that type of thing. So I chose the military. So when I chose the military, I was like, you know what? I was talking to somebody and it was like, man, when you get out the military, the nurse field is always going to be open. So I'm like, I'm a male, I like women. I could be a nurse, right? So I went to MCI, applied. I mean, it was all these women went and applied to be a nurse, right? And I didn't finish it because in the Navy, we have to deploy. And to be a nurse, you have to have them labs and have to actually be there, right? So I left, came back, like, you know what? I don't want to be a nurse, right? I started that. So then wrote a book, right? So I said, write this book. And I was just writing. I just wanted to complete something, right? So I completed the book. And then everybody was like, man, this can be a movie, right? So I started working on a movie. I had all type of great actors and actresses, but then COVID hit. And I said, man, I'm always putting other people out front. So I need to do something for myself. And my friend used to always say, this is not about Ken. It's not the Ken Meeks show, right? I was like, you know what? This is the Ken Meeks show. I'm a creator.
I love that.
So I created that. And as far as, the gun violence stuff and all that, really, I don't know how I have time to do all this stuff, but I'm a firm believer of creating what you want or creating your dream, right? So I know when I was in the Navy, I felt like I did a lot of good work. Like I worked harder than a whole lot of people, but I wouldn't get a lot of awards, right? You would always get an award. It's all about who you know, and this is my buddy, I'm gonna help them out and whatever. So I said, you know what? Start my own award show. So that's when I started Men in Mississippi Awards, and I started giving out awards to the mayors, the state representatives, the judges. And when I first threw it, I'm like, man, these people are not gonna come. But a lot of people showed up. It's a big deal. So if it wasn't for COVID, the first one was good, but the second one was gonna be great. If it wasn't for COVID, I would have did it again. So definitely gonna try to put that in place for next year, because I did the Men in Mississippi, but I didn't do the Women in Mississippi. Then after I get that together, then I can form a committee so they can do it. So my point is, if somebody won't give me something or don't give me something, I create it on my own, right? Like I always wanted to do the TV thing, right? And I'm like, okay, let me start doing this. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna pitch. So I start pitching my movie and stuff like that. And they was like, you need this, you need this. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna create my own. Pretty soon I'm gonna have my own network, right? So created Kenwuan Meeks show, got all the best celebrities, and all this happened within a year. So you know God is behind it. So I started the show November 2020. So November 2021, which was a couple of months ago, made it a year and some months. And I've already had, you know, your Michael Blackson, your Gary Owens, Coco Brown, Algebra, Tony Roberts, you name it, Rodney Perry. I got Mike Hill, Cynthia Bailey's husband. I hate saying that because Mike Hill has built his own way, right? With through ESPN and all that. And I interviewed him on the 25th. I got to go to LA. I'll be interviewing him, then Big Daddy Kane. And so I create what I want, right? Somebody created the Oscars, somebody created all this stuff, right? And people really get upset when they don't get the award. I'm like, that award doesn't matter. You do know somebody made that, right? It's just big now. So if I want something, I'm gonna get it, even if I have to make it my own. But when I make it my own, I'm gonna make it big enough that everybody else the other people that strive and felt left out like myself, don't feel left out. Create your own. You don't need somebody else's stuff.
Say that. You know what I love about what you said? A couple of things. One, not putting yourself in a box or allowing other people to put you in a box to say, hey, you have to do this one thing and be this one thing only. You literally just named so many things that of and how you were able to transition, adjust, and be okay, right, with whatever comes. But also you talked about the power of creating your own, right? Not waiting for someone to green light this show, green light this movie, put you in position. You're saying, you know what? I'm gonna do it on my own. And for people who are listening, I think that's such a gem, because I think a lot of times folks are looking for validation from other folks about, for instance, a platform, or like I said, green lighting something for them to be like, okay, I'm gonna go all in and do this thing. So, you touched on a lot, but I'll circle back to a few things, but I want to go here. I met you, and I think it was late 2017. It might have been mid 2017 when you were hosting your walk in your hometown of Drew.
Right.
And I remember seeing that, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like, this is so inspiring. And I just continued to keep tabs on your work and what you were doing, which eventually evolved into the article I wrote about men in Mississippi going to the high school. Which, for people who don't know, Men in Mississippi connects young high school men with folks in the community, from pastors to legislators, business owners, what have you, to help guide and mentor them. And when I hear, your passion and, the way that you've bet on yourself, can you talk to me about what sparked, this spirit in you to not only, create this path for yourself, but also give back and continue to uplift
Right.
the young men in Mississippi?
Well, I'm gonna start by saying this. Going to church, with my grandma making me go to church and my mom making me go to church, that put a lot in me, right? Instilled a lot in me. Especially when you read the Bible and they say things like you are, God-like or Christ-like, and God made you in his own image and all this other stuff, and realizing that I came in this world by myself and knowing my purpose. I know you was talking about purpose, but knowing your purpose and why you are here, right? I heard somebody say the other day, forgot what I was watching, but it resonated with me a lot. They said, you have to realize that you are not the main character in somebody else's life and somebody else's movie. You're only the main character in your life, in your movie, right? This is my one life that I'm playing out that I can control, right? Nobody else can come. You can help me, support me with my vision of what I'm doing. But if I say in my dream world, because this illusion, whatever you call it, right? If I think in my world that I can do this and I believe in God and I know God is going to guide me through it, who are you, flesh like me, to tell me I can't, right? So I like when people tell me I can't, because God is so strong in my life, right? You have to believe it. I don't know what you believe in.
I believe in God. Let's put that out there.
So God is so strong in my life that when I pray and I ask him for something and I really realize, I really believe he's going to do it, it always happens. But it always happens on his time, right? Just like the Navy. When I retired, COVID broke out, right? And they was letting affidavit came out that said that if you retire, you can extend 6 months because the society, whatever, is bad out there. And I said, Mom, what you think? Because I was scared. I was like, I'm gonna jump out here. All I knew was Navy, right? So I was like, what you think? She said, follow your heart. So I put in my little notice to extend in the Navy for 6 months. Everybody in the world got approved except me. So I said, I'm like, I was kind of mad at first. I went to the CEO, my command master chief. I said, look, what, am I that bad of a person? Y'all don't want to extend me? Like, what's wrong? It's a pandemic outside, right?
Right.
So after I told him and explained it, like, look, man, if y'all don't whatever. So they said, look, he said, look, I'm gonna talk to the CEO. So I slept on it. Pray to God, talk to my mama. She said, well, Ken, step out on faith. Like this don't define you, right? So I talked to my master chief the next day. He said, Ken, he said, Meeks. He said, guess what? Good news. We got you approved. And I said, you know what? I only got approved because I fought for it, right? But I don't think that's what God wants me to do. I think he wants me to start something else. And I told him, if you fight for it hard enough, he gonna give you what you want, right?
Right.
He gonna give it to you. But I said, you know what? I don't want it. And he's like, what? Fall for you? I said, you know what? I'm gonna trust God. This ain't for me. Thank you. It's not for me. Let me tell you something.
Wow.
I left the Navy. I ended up getting another job, right? Not only that, I ended up starting the movie. The movie didn't work, right? And then the show came. So I prayed on the show. So many people, when I first started that show, so many people was telling me, man, why you want to be a talk show host? Why you this? And I talked to people, I said, look, I want to interview celebrities. I want the big name. Maybe you should start with this person. Maybe you should start with this person, right? One of the people I talked to, she know a lot of celebrities. I'm like, hook me up with this person, with this person. In the beginning, she's a celebrity chef. So she did hook me up with some people. They weren't celebrities, but they was influential people, which I'm cool with that too, because I wanna provide this platform for everybody, especially people trying to do it. So I reached out to all them people. Nobody reached back. Nobody, right? So I got a couple of friends. So one of my friends, he's considered as a celebrity. I said, man, came on my show. He did my show, right? And I did a female, I ain't gonna call her name, that's known, but I posted her in my messenger with my classmates from Drew, Mississippi. One of my classmates was like, oh, that's who you interviewing? She ain't nobody. You know, she was fighting on this place, boo, boo, boo. I'm like, yo, why you gotta be so negative? Why can't you be encouraging? That type of thing. So, tell you how God worked. My next person was Michael Blackson, right? My second person. Next person was Gary Owens, then Tony Roberts. Then it just build. Now, I don't really have to, I've built a name, I built a brand that I'm cool with a lot of people. And when celebrities see me, they be like, okay, this cool guy. They do my research. Okay, I don't see nobody getting embarrassed on this. So I'm okay with my brand. I just want to promote my movie. I promote this. He's not going to make me look bad. He's a good guy. I love his energy. I got it. So I don't even have to go out and look for people. They come to me now because and it's all a family when you come on the Candy Show, right? So that's just going to tell you that and go to show you that God, even now, right? Where I'm at now, I feel like I proved a lot, right? So I tell people all the time, you want to see me on the TV screen, and you want to see me on the big national, it's coming. Oh, yeah, okay. You're on YouTube, you this. So people would never believe in you. You have to continue to believe in you. They would never, you can show them a million things. There's always something else that you need to do that, say I get on the big screen. Okay, you made it here, but Oprah got this. She's a billionaire. You on ABC, but you only making this much money. Well, where your billion is at? So it's always, you're never going to be able to satisfy everybody. I'm satisfied with me. I think God is satisfied with me because he knows that I trust him and I believe that he's going to make everything right. Money don't motivate me. I love it, but it don't. What motivates me is seeing other people happy, right? As I have enough to live and you be fair to me, give me what I'm worth, right? We're good. But other than that, God has driven everything. I'm just following. And now when I see something is not going right, I don't fight for it, whether it's relationship, whether it's whatever. I don't fight for, I know people say fight for what you want, But if you're fighting and they're not, it's like you're hitting a wall, right? Waiting on the wall to break, and you keep hitting it, and you looking at your hands, you're bleeding, you're damaging yourself. Stop fighting it. Let it go. And you'll see God's going to bring some, you're going to be like, you're going to look back and like, why was I trying? So God, all the praise.
Oh, most definitely. And, knowing the power of letting go is so important. And, I want to touch on two things you mentioned. You talked about the challenges of trying to get folks on the show at first. And then next thing you know, this domino effect. For people who, are new to the quote unquote networking space or forming these authentic relationships with people, what are some things that can help them get over that, to help them build, community and relationships with the folks that they might, be working with essentially?
Well, first of all, get your business in order before you do any of that. And one thing about me, when I started, I didn't even know what I was doing. right? I didn't know nothing about EPK. I didn't know nothing about, EIN number. I didn't know none of this stuff, right? So I said, you know what? I do want to, I want to brand my name. I want to create something. This is when I wrote my book. I want to brand my name. One day I'm going to make it a movie. So let me go ahead and create a production company, right? I created KM Productions and everything fell under that. The Ken Meeks Show, my books, everything fell under, KM Production. The first thing I went and did, I got my business together. I got my EIN number. And I learned all this by Mr. Hankey. Mr. Hankey is a super producer. If you ever heard of him, he's produced the song "Living My Best Life," Lil Duval. He's produced City Girls, Twerkulator. He produced a lot, right? So I went to make a song with this guy, and he was like, "Well, this is this, and this is this." So at the end of our deal, I'm like, "Well, I don't know nothing." He was like, "Publishing, and this is this." I said, "Well, I thought I just paid his money, and it's my beat." He said, "No, it's something called a split sheet. You got publishing, you got royalties, you got." So he broke it down to me. I'm like, some people, they might not tell all that, right? So he broke it down to me because I was owning it and I was trying to get other artists at the time. I was in the music business too. So
I love it.
People in the music business. But anyway, he broke that down to me. So I'm like, if I'm going to do film, it can't be any different from music. Got to be publishing, right? Because they got to run it and how many times you run it and spin. So publish, why? I'm like, why are everybody fighting for publishing rights and not royalties? So I thought royalties was the big thing. Well, publishing rights mean every time they play it or your movie or whatever, spin on that in the commercial, whatever, you get a check, right? You get a check from that. Royalties, I'm just educating in a small point. Royalties is if you actually sell it on iTunes or something like that, and it's getting sold and whatever, you get a percentage from that. So once I learned all that, and then EPK, I was like, my homeboy marketing was like, you marketing this book and all that, you're gonna need an EPK, electronic press kit, right? It tells everybody what you've done, like a resume, and electronic press kit. Tells everybody what you've done, how your photo, your bio, everything. Or one sheet, they call it like a one sheet or whatever, for people to look at. I said, okay, I got that. So then I was like, talking to people, I'm like, I'm gonna make a movie about this one day. Started with an idea. And I'm gonna go back to your question. I'm just moving this way. So I said, okay, I need a movie. So they start saying stuff like, do you have sides? Like, what's the side? What you mean? Script. Do you have a script? Oh, okay. Size is the word for script. Okay, cool. And it was like, do you have a treatment? Hypnosis. No, I don't. I paid a guy to make me a treatment, right? And the treatment that he gave me was the best ever. And this is the one I use to this day. If I want to manipulate or mock something else or whatever, that's what I use, a treatment. So for anybody that's starting fresh, right? Say they want to be a talk show host. First of all, make sure your business is right. Think about your end goal, not your right now. Your right now is, or podcast or whatever. Your right now is, I want a podcast, what I need my microphone, no. Don't think about what you need right now.
Right.
Think about the big picture. Think about, okay, I want to start a podcast. My goal is to be on a major radio network like Ricky Smiley, actually doing this, on radio. I'm starting from a podcast, but this is where I want to be. What do I need to get to be where Ricky Smiley is at, right? Well, he obviously got a business because he don't want to get sued. Let me go do my LLC over here. What else he got? Well, you might not need lawyers or nothing right now, but you do need some type of lawyer to look over your paperwork, right? Because you want all that done. You definitely want to have your press kit just in case if you do want to go and look for a job at a radio station, you have that with your resume. You definitely want, I say your LLC, marketing tools. You want to look up everything as far as marketing goes, boosting, Facebook, Instagram. You want to do all that. Once you come up with what it takes for your end goal, then your beginning goal will be easy because you already have that stuff, right? So what makes it so easy for me now, when I'm talking to different networks and different people, they be like, well, you're gonna need this. Or if I'm talking to my PR, you're gonna need this, you're gonna need this. I'll be like, hold on, let me send you something. Send them an email. They'd be like, yo, you have everything and you don't need nothing. You good. You ready?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready. So if you have to have somebody else tell you what you need, that means you don't know, which means they can scam you or anything like that. Like when I first wrote my book, I self-published it, right? You have so many self-publishing people out there that went through the same person that people I went through, which is CreateSpace, which is easy to upload, which CreateSpace is not around anymore. It's K Publishing, and you have a Lulu. It's easy to upload your stuff to CreateSpace, as long as you get your graphic designer and all that to work out everything with your images on your book and all that. And it's automatic. Once you publish it, it's going to automatically go to Amazon. It's going to automatically go to Books A Million and all that. So a lot of these publishing companies might tell you, I can get you on Amazon. I can get you on this. I'm going to get you on that. Pay me $5,000 up front. And then no, right? Once you educate yourself on it, you can do all this stuff yourself, unless it's a traditional, know the words, right? You got self and you got tradition. If it's a traditional publishing company, that means they can give you an advance. They can write you a big check. But normally the traditional company will find you because you got so many numbers that they're going to come to you. But anyway, make sure your business is in line. Know where you want to be at the end. That way you'll get everything together in the beginning. So when you do go to talk to these radio networks, these TV networks, whatever, all of your stuff is ready to go. But again, you have to have some type of belief, because I believe in God so hard, so much.
Yeah.
It's been people that came to me that said, I can do this, and I'm gonna put you this, and I'm gonna pitch this, and I'm gonna pitch that. None of that worked. None of that worked because he wanted me to do it myself. He wanted me to do the platform for myself. So I own everything. If I pitch to any network, there is no agent, no middleman. It's KM Production. I'm cutting a check to myself and everybody else. Tyler Perry did that. A lot of other people did that. Yes, you need help. But when God talks to you and he sends people to you that do you wrong, it's going to be a couple people that's going to come to you and is going to do you wrong. And you might think you need that person. And I've had people tell me, you need me. You need me for the next level. You need me to get these celebrities. You need me. No, I don't. I don't need you. You're fired. A week later, somebody bigger comes on.
Come on.
Says, I want to be on your show. And that I did that. It just happens, right? The only person you need is God. The only person, even if it's a major network that say this. Now, don't burn your bridges. I'm not saying that. Don't burn your bridges. Be smart. Be smart. But at the same time, listen when God speaks.
Yes, and don't.
Or whoever speaks to you, or whoever speaking to you.
Yeah, I've been doing this practice for a while now, but I don't make any decisions unless I consult with God and pray about it. Like even the people that I'm bringing on this podcast, even if I think they're dope and I have a great relationship with them, I have to pray about it first, and then I, reach out to the person. But I want to move along a little bit because I do want to talk about Mississippi. Being from Mississippi, we're from the poorest part of Mississippi, the Mississippi Delta, where there are such limited resources, right? And we know this. Throughout the state, there are too, some worse than others. Do you feel like you know, through your experience, if you would have stayed in Mississippi, you would have seen the same level of success in the industry that you're in now? Or do you feel like you needed to leave to prosper?
I feel like I would have been successful in whatever I would have did because of who I am. But do I think I would be here? Probably not. I probably would have been the biggest drug dealer in Mississippi. In Mississippi. I mean, it's not much there, right? So, which is bad, which is a bad thing, very bad thing. So, if I was in, and I kid and I joke, but if I was in Mississippi, I do think a lot of people need to get out of Mississippi, and I do think getting out of Mississippi helped me grow. Because when I joined the Navy, this is a story that I tell people. I joined the Navy, and I was explaining where I'm from to one of the guys on the ship. And I was like, yeah, man, from Mississippi, you know, I stay, you know, in the black folks quarters. And he said, what? You stay what? I said, the black folks quarters. You know, you got where the black people live. And then on the white side, across the track, where the white people live, the white folks quarters. He was like, what? So I said it again. And he said, do you hear what you're saying? You're saying white folks quarters and black folks quarters. It's almost like it's still, you know, segregated or whatever. And I'm like, man, never thought about it like that, right? So there's a lot of stuff that we do in Mississippi and some of the language that we say that we don't even realize that we're still living in the past.
Yeah.
Right? And in Mississippi, all I saw was black and white growing up. When I joined the Navy, I seen Puerto Rican, Mexican. Now in Mississippi, you see everybody. But when I was growing up, I only knew black and white. And then when I saw all these different people, so you should get out of Mississippi or should leave because Mississippi is so small. Even though if you're there, you might think it's big, it's so small to the world, right? So when I left, I learned so many other things, not about the culture, or the world, but about myself. That Mississippi will close you in a box. My mother, if you would have told my mom, I would have wrote a book. I would have had, hundreds of people in the streets walking, doing a gun violence march, or have a celebrity talk show with all the renowned, biggest celebrities out there. She would have never believed you, because I was an A, B, C, D student in school, but school was easy to me. And I would always tell them, I'm smart. Like the other, it would be somebody or whatever, they'll say, well, he or she is a valedictorian and they're very smart, they're smart. No, you're not smarter than me. You studied harder, you got the grade, your grades are better than me, but you're not smarter than me, right? So I think once I looked at what smart and intelligent is, and I realized what that was, I didn't put myself in a box. I didn't say, now you do have some gifted people, some Einsteins, they just gifted, right? But they may lack common sense on this side. So once I realized that, and once I realized who I was leaving Mississippi, and not just leaving Mississippi, then I was good. Because in Mississippi, when you talk to different people from other places, as soon as you tell them where you're from, they automatically stereotype you, think you're slow, think you're not capable of doing this, you're not capable of doing that. But a lot of the greats came out of Mississippi once they look at Oprah, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of great people came out of Mississippi. You just can't let Mississippi define you. And a lot of people from Mississippi is another good reason to get away, because other people there may think they might be okay with where they are and settle with where they are because they can't fathom being in a bigger place, right? Like when I was in Mississippi growing up, we used to look at the cars, the Mercedes and the Corvettes, and I'd be like, man, I want one of those, but that's way out of my price range. But then when some told me one day when I bought my first Mercedes, some said, man, just go price it, right? I went price, oh, this it? I can afford this. So I was like, Corvette, what? I can get this. But I was so closed-minded from being in Mississippi that I thought it was way out of my reach. And you realize, you know, once you might realize, yo, I can get that or I can do that. So yes, getting out of Mississippi, talking to different people, exploring your horizon, going deeper than what Mississippi can give you is great. And get out of your comfort zone in Mississippi. Like we're in this Black folks quarters, white folks quarters. Get out of that. Go into a white restaurant. Stafford Shirley, you know Stafford, I think. He's with the men in Mississippi. He was a district judge or whatever. Great guy, great restaurants, good friend of mine, right? In Mississippi, white guy, know a lot of people. So me and him, when I come home, we chop it up. When I come home this weekend, we're going to chop it up. So get out of your comfort zone or this old time, you know, this person don't like me, that person don't like me. That might be the person who can help you, believe it or not, one day. So hope I answered that question.
Yeah, a lot of that is self-discovery and growth, right? That's a lot of self-work. And speaking of that, what do you think is the most important thing that you've learned about yourself over the course of this journey?
I've learned I have no patience, right? So that's why I keep creating things. I have no patience. So I have learned that I have to wait on their response. Like if I send somebody an email and they don't reply to me that day, I might say I'll give them a day. The next day I'm like, yo, I might send an email again. And I might wait, especially if it's something big. But I've learned that most people, a lot of people that's doing big things are busy. They'll get to you, right? Then they get to you, they email you like, oh man, I got the big email, I got the response. Then you're trying to hurry up and give them what they asked for and you waiting. So yeah, what I've learned about me is I have no patience, but I do know that I'm kind, right? So I'm kind, not gullible, very humble. I can only be used when I want to be used, right? Sometimes I could know somebody is trying to get over and trying to use me and be like, I need this or I need that. But I might give it to them anyway, because I might say that you might need it more than I need it, right? Even though I know this is a scam, I know what you're doing. I know what this is, but I know this, so I'm helping you out, right? So I've learned I'm a good person, man. I'm a good person. And I think a lot of that comes from the love that I saw that my grandmother gave me, my grandfather gave me, my mama gave me. Even though it was discipline time, you know, that love, at the end of the day, that love after discipline, that's love. Just like telling people, no, it's okay sometimes. Even if I got it. You say, man, give me $20. I can be in the club spending $100 on bottles. I say, nah, man. You know, and they be like, at the end of the day, I still love you, but it's my money. I do what I want to do with it. If I want to give it to you, I can. If I don't, I don't. So I learned that I am myself. I am controlled by me. God is there with me. He's controlling everything. And I've learned to put God first. I've learned that once you put God first, trust me, everything else is going to fall in place.
That made me think of something else. This word, discernment.
Oh yeah.
How do you operate in that in the entertainment industry? How do you know if folks are genuine, are fake, are not for you?
You don't, but God will show you. The person will, and this comes in relationships too. The person will show you who they are early, a couple of times. They're going to show you. But we as people tend to, if we're lacking something and a person fulfills that something, then that's what we absorb, right? That's what we cling to. So say you, for example, if you're dating a guy, a young man, and your ex never bought you roses, or he never bought you flowers, he never bought you anything, right? So the guy you're with now, he's doing all, he's taking you out, he's doing this and he's doing this and do, but he's showing you a couple of red flags, but you're looking at the good part. Your friends are like, girl, you got you one, and da da da. And so you give him another chance, right? And you give him another chance, you give him another chance, you give him another chance. But I realized when you got God with you and you know who you are and you know what you can take and what you can't take as far as discernment go, he's going to show you. He's going to put all type of things around you. He's going to show you your favorite. He's going to give you discernment and know who's not for you, who's for you. You're going to see it. Whether you fear can stop you from making a decision. If a guy come in your life or a girl come in your life, or even if it's on a business related tip, if you know that this person can get you to this network or get you there, you're afraid to let that relationship go because you came so close. You put in so much work that you might not get to this point again, having somebody like this on your team, even though you know they're bad. And some people may say you got to play the game, right? God don't deal in confusions, right? So he don't play games. So if you're not for me, maybe that's not for you. Somebody else will come along that you'll get a better deal, but just know it's okay to play the game. But when it's genuine and when everything's in black and white and everything is what it's supposed to be, you don't have to play the game because it's going to be right. That right person is going to come along for you, whether it's business or whatever, and you won't have to play the game because they're going to want somebody like you. They're going to want an Aallyah with a podcast the way you have it, that they're not going to have to play you or scam you or mess the contract up because they're going to like you so much. I want to do right by this girl. You're going to say, I want to do right by them. So when it works, and God put it together, it's going to work.
Most definitely. This has been a phenomenal conversation, but I do want to leave with this question here. As you can see on my mug, it's on my t-shirt. These are the three. And passion, yes, it's the three pillars of my work. It's the core of who I am. And I know you operate with, in the work that you do with those three things too: people, passion, purpose. What do those words mean, to you? I know we talked a little bit about purpose. We've definitely talked a lot about people and also passion. But yeah, if you can just expound a little bit on that.
Okay, so in short words, purpose is about you, right? It's about what you figure out you want to do in life, your broad picture. Passion is also about you. That's also a personal thing within. And to be passionate, everything else is going to move the way you allowed to move. You're passionate about people. You're passionate about your career. You're passionate about whatever. Everything is going to come together and work together the way it's supposed to. As far as people go, there's something that you can't control, right? Like I said earlier, you're the main character in your movie, not everybody else. People, you want to treat everybody right. You can't help everybody can't go with you. But love, when I was a kid, I used to say a prayer, and I used to pray. I'd say, God, help everybody in the world, and I pray, help people in China, help people in Russia, help people in it. The prayer was so long, right? So I would pray for everybody. I want everybody to be good, and I do believe this, right? I know you asked me about people. I'm on the people part, but I do believe this. I believe that there's an energy that's so strong when it comes to love, that if everybody in the world, for one day, 24 hours, loved everybody. No killing, no stealing, no fighting, no nothing. No, everybody just loved everybody for even 1 hour. Something probably would open up a portal, or some crazy stuff would happen, because I think love rectifies out, farther and longer than what it is. But dealing with people, yeah, when I think of people, I think of life. I think of my grandmother, my grandfather, the youth, the people that's coming out after us, right? I'm thinking of everybody, and I'm always thinking of a way of how to bring people together. That's why I'm doing so much stuff. That's why I did the gun violence. That's why I did the Kenwuan Meeks show. Kenwuan Meeks show, we come from a small place, population 2,000, 1,500 people, is to build a platform for those type of people so they can see it's not my main thing, because I'm thinking globally. I'm not thinking just 2,000 people over here. I'm thinking to say everybody, but you have other towns, other places, just like where I'm from, that I might can inspire a young girl or a young guy one day to say, that guy got it out the mud. I literally got it out the mud. I've had a lot of
Talk
people
about it.
Had a lot of people help me, but a lot of times if you're not paying somebody, and if it's free, they see something in it for them as well, right? Even if they say, I'm helping you out because I believe in you. Yeah, they may see it, but once you get there, they're thinking he's made it. He's going to bring me up, which you should, right? So yeah, that's it with people. I'll be talking all day, man.
People are such complex individuals. I feel like that conversation could go many ways. But yeah, how can we support you? What else you got going on that we didn't discuss that you want to talk about?
Also in July, I have another gun violence walk, which we do every year. I got a lot of great stuff that's happening with the Kenwuan Meeks show. If you know somebody that has a good story, you want to be a part of the Kenwuan Meeks show, you don't have to be a celebrity. I'm starting to focus more on kings and men. So the Kenwuan Meeks show is a lot of great things happening. I'm creating a platform for a lot of other people that was like me, that had a dream, that always knew he can do it, but just needed to find a way to get there. But now I got the blueprint. I give it away for free. Like, I don't have to, I'm not a consultant that'll charge you $100 for an hour just to talk to me before I give you, which I think is ridiculous. I understand everybody got a job and they're getting paid, but
and you use the word blueprint because I like to give people their flowers, and I'm giving you the virtual flowers here because I'm so proud. Proud is an understatement, actually, for being somebody from Mississippi, doing the things that you are doing, like I said, that you will continue to do. I can only imagine. I'm happy that I get to see it. The work you're creating, this blueprint that you're creating for young folks who can, who don't have guidance or know the way, especially in this media and entertainment industry, right? And so you mentioned, giving away game is crazy. A lot of people say free game ain't free, but you out here giving the gems. You're teaching people through this conversation.
Let me tell you something. We will continue to be behind if we don't give free game, right? Whoever said game ain't free, the game is to be told, not to be sold, not to be told. A pimp said that, right? so that's a whole nother story. But yeah, I don't understand how, even when I was trying to write a book, all I wanted was to know what I needed to do to publish a book. That's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
And people would say, okay, well, I'll talk to you, but these are my hours, fill out this calendar. You go to the calendar and you got to pay $100 just to talk to a person to see. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. So I would meet some genuine people that say, look, you need this. Don't go here, don't go here. If you come to me, I'm a busy person, right? I ain't got a lot of time within the day, but if I do connect with you, I'm gonna give you the blueprint. I'm gonna tell you everything I think you need and what to stay away from to get there for free, because I genuinely want people to make it. And if you genuinely want people to make it, just tell people you believe in them, you know, why charge them. Now, if you help me, then I'll come back and say thank you and give you this or whatever. If you know, everybody that helped me, I make sure I, you know, give them something or help them out in any type of way. But yeah, that's it. But Aallyah, you know, this was nice. It was good, and I'm proud of you too. To see that now that you're doing this global thing.
She's making her way. She comes from the south and she's making her way. For the latest news, click on her page. She's the new way. The Aallyah Wright show gon' lead